Welcome back to Born for the Stories, where we speak the truth no one has told us, so you don't have to carry this alone. I'm Dr. Johanna Hartley, and today it's just me. No guests, no Pete, just you and me, and something that has been sitting with me for a while, something I wish I had been handed in the early days when I didn't even have words for what I was actually in. Today, I want to talk to you about different stages, not the kind that come with a neat little checklist or a 5-step plan, but the real kind of stages, the kinds that you don't notice or you don't announce to anybody else, the kind you only recognize after you've already moved through them. This is a stage of change, rewritten entirely for the medical mama. And I want you to listen to this like a mirror, not a map, not to figure out where you should be, but to finally name where you actually are. The reason I wanted to do this episode, and we've touched about it a little bit throughout the different seasons, is that when I was in the thick of this with our son, I was lost and I was confused and I was ridden with guilt and shame and sadness. And I didn't realize that there were these different phases you could be in, for lack of better terms. And I think about this when I think about like grief. If you've ever lost someone, especially if you've ever been through like hospice, they talk about there's different phases of grief, and pretty much everyone goes through them as you're moving through the process. So there's different stages, and it's almost like textbook. If you know them and you look at someone and they're going through them, it's like you just know, okay, they're in phase 1, they're in phase 2. And it's just something you have to work through in order to heal from the loss that you had. So I wanted to create something like that for you guys, for the medical mama more specifically. And because I noticed this, like once I was out of it, like once I was out of the surgery mode, and then like, oh my gosh, like you've heard me talk about like, oh, I woke up mode, like, oh, there's birds and there's sun and there's sky and there's these great things and there's these people. And that I had shut off all of that for so long as I was in survival mode. And I just bring this to light because it's okay to be like that. It's totally okay. In fact, I think you have to go through these processes. But I wanted to do this episode because there's so much life past survival. And there's basically 5 stages that I've kind of cultivated here that I want to review. And all of it's to just like bring awareness. Nothing's to make you feel bad if you're still in stage 1. You can be in stages like for a long period of time, a short period of time. You can be in stage 1 indefinitely. It's just kind of what works for you. But I think talking about it and bringing light to it will help bring, hopefully, some of you guys into the next stage if you're kind of teeter-tottering. So that's my goal. Stage 1 is survival, okay? It's basically where you may not even know that you're in this stage. You may not even know until later about that. But it's things like you're not thinking about healing. You're not thinking about growth or community or what comes next. You're thinking about keeping your child alive and calling that enough inside of this time frame, because it is enough. It is. I do not want to downplay that. It's where you're probably running on adrenaline and Googling all the things, doing cold coffee, hot coffee, whatever you want, but you're doing caffeine, and that the one quiet cry that you let out in the shower before anyone else wakes up. These are all things, right? So I just want to recap. You're running on adrenaline, you're running on Google, you're running on coffee, you're totally quiet. You may not even cry. When you do, you're just like shrugging it off. Nobody gets to ask her. So nobody gets to ask you, how are you really doing? Because you don't have time to answer it honestly. I've been there. You're totally going to be like, I'm fine. I'm good. Meaning like, and I know those moms. I know when I ask them and they say, I'm good. And I can just see past that smile that's forced on her face and see the hurt and the loneliness and the sadness inside. And I just want to walk up to them and give them a hug, like I do. And that's why this space exists. So we can virtually do that kind of stuff, because not everyone's close to me. This isn't resistance. It's your body doing exactly what it was built to do, to protect what matters most at any cost. I was here. I can still see the room. Tell me and tell them like exactly what it looked like. So when I was here, I just everything that I just said. I was functioning through my life. I was coming to my office. I was seeing patients. How are you? I'm good. I'm fine. Most people didn't even know we went through this 18-month process with our son because we didn't talk about it. And I put a smile on my face. But at home, I was Googling, I was crying, I was breaking down, I was numb, I wasn't feeling emotions or things. I was literally just one step after the next, one step after the next. Like, let's just keep forging, keep moving forward, and just keep surviving. But again, when you're in it, you don't see it as survival, you see it as fine. And it's not until you get past it that you can kind of look back and go, oh, wow, I was only surviving. I was not thriving during that time. Oh, so if you're in stage one right now, I see you. I see you. I see you. I see you. I can't even say that enough because I can pretty much see it as I meet you. And you don't need to be anywhere else when you're in that stage. You just need to know that this is a stage and it's not a permanent address unless you choose it to be, but it doesn't have to be. And then we get to move on to stage two, which is really what we call like the first exhale. It's when you start to contemplate, it's almost like something inside of you cracks open. It might be a voice in a podcast. It may even be this one. It might be a stranger in a waiting room who says something so real and so simple that you just start crying right there in the chair under fluorescent lights. This has happened to me as well, just so you know. It might be a moment alone in the car when you actually realize you haven't cried in 3 months. And that's actually the problem. You may start to wonder, is this just how it is now? Or is there something on the other side of this? It's when you're not really ready to move on, but you're starting to look at maybe there could be something past this survival mode. The clear moment that I remember moving past this is, and I've expressed this in the podcast before, is after our son was done with his last surgery. And once that last catheter was out and we got the green light from the surgeons, and it literally was like, I woke up, someone turned the lights on. I all of a sudden I looked in the mirror and I didn't like what I saw. I was like 30 pounds heavier than I've ever been. I didn't look healthy. I didn't look rested. I just looked exhausted and tired. I remember again going outside and just being super present with the world that we live in. Like all of a sudden, like I was connecting with people again and I was feeling the sun on my face and I heard the birds. And as simple as that sounds, like all of that stuff was lost. And I hope that like just explaining that connects even with just one person, because you may be listening to this and think like, oh my gosh, you're right. Like I haven't heard the birds. Where did they go? Guess what? They're still out there. You're just such in survival mode that you have turned off so many aspects of life to literally survive the situation that you're in. And again, that's okay. But as you feel called to open other things up, this is a great way to do it. And your next phase is exactly that. It's the first exhales when you can relax and hear and see and connect. Reaching in this action, getting to this point, means you don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to be ready. The moment where you actually start to wonder, that's stage two. Which after that, after wondering and reaching, you'll get to stage three, which is the reaching part. It's where you start to prep. It's where you start to search. It's where you start to look for answers and what can we be doing? So it's where you start searching for community, for stories, for someone who has been where you have walked and has made it out. It's where you're Googling things like, how do other moms do this? And will I ever feel like myself again? She's not taking action yet, meaning you're not taking action yet, but you're circling around it. You're starting to gain and grasp that information. You could be in the Facebook groups, listening to podcasts when everyone else is just asleep. You're possibly DMing accounts that you've never even spoken to because something in the caption made you feel less alone. this is where you find me. This is where you find my page and my content. It's where you can reach out and you can talk to me. You can ask me these questions. That's already happening in my DMs. I get messages each and every day from moms going through the same diagnosis that our son had, or even different ones. And I hold a local support group in St. Pete for this. And it is not specific to a condition for a child. It is broad, but the whole point and the whole purpose is because all of us medical mamas experience the same concerns, the same grief, the same caregiver fatigue, decision fatigue, dealing with people being super positive and you just can't understand that and why. That's what this is for, and this is what it's all about. So I'm glad that you're here. If you found this podcast while you were searching, welcome. If this is your first episode, you exactly are supposed to be here right now. There's a reason for that. The universe has put it in your direction and in your path so you can start to open up and feel less alone. That takes me to stage 4, which is where you actually start showing up. You start taking action. This is where the story starts to shift. It's one of the most powerful places to be. You start to show up somewhere. Maybe you show up on a podcast like ours. Maybe you come on and you share your experience and your story and your journey that you had with your medically complex child. No matter if you're out of it or if you're indefinitely in it, the story is still valid. It's worth being heard. It's worth connecting with other parents, other moms, and helping them know also that they are not alone, and shedding light on the experience, because shedding light on the experience brings community. It brings people together. It helps, hopefully, if you had a bad experience, hopefully it helps save somebody else from having a similar experience. I mean, that is one of the biggest parts of this ability to have platforms and to have your voice spoken and listened to. Maybe you start showing up at a health gathering. That's what I have locally here in St. Pete. It's a local medical mama support group. So there could be other ones in your city. If not, I am building an online one. So if you're interested, just please send me a message and I can add you to the wait list. It should be done hopefully at the end of the summer. It could be a text that you finally send to another medical mama, an appointment that you make for yourself, not for your child, just for you. It may feel small in the beginning, but that time that you take and claim for yourself is everything in this stage. Because in stage 4, the story moves from what happened to us to what we are doing with it. Early on in survival mode, it's very much, this is what happened to me and my family, and this is my story. When you are able to get to stage 4, then we really get to capitalize and talk about what we're doing with this. I promise you, and my husband and I will scream this from the rooftop, when our son was first diagnosed and we were going through this, we would have never thought that we would have talked about it again. Never. And then one day, I had this thought of, I need to bring these moms together. There needs to be a platform. People need to hear about this. They need to know they're not alone. And that is what spun and started this movement. And even if it changes 4 lives, it changes 4 lives. Like, that's enough for me. But I empower you that if you are in stage 4 and you are starting to show up, try to build a community, if you feel called to do so, with other moms. Because I talked to moms very early on in that process of first getting that diagnosis. And those are the most hardest days, if you can recall. And if you could be a support for someone else, that's how we're going to change this. This is how moms are going to feel less alone, less burnout. There's going to be more community around it. And that's something I really, really wish I had when I was going through this. One step, that's all that it takes to move from stage 3 to stage 4. You don't need a plan, not a program, just one step. That's it. And then you made it to stage 5, the last and final stage, which is choosing it again. It's maintenance. It's staying with it. It's staying with the things that can regulate your nervous system. When you're better regulated, your kiddo's going to be better regulated. I know a lot of this stuff can be super heavy. It can be lifelong. It can be ups and downs. It is still so important to do what you can for yourself to avoid burnout, to ask for help. And I'm here to empower you to do that. Stage 5 is really the stage that nobody talks about because it doesn't have a finish line, as odd as that sounds. It's the daily choices to keep showing up for yourself, not just for your kid. Some days it looks like going for a walk, listening to something that is good for you, no matter if that's a podcast or if that's your workout mix or something like that. Some days it's showing up in a community group to help support other medical mamas going through this. Sometimes maybe it's just saying it out loud that you're not the same person and that you and your child had this diagnosis and you've been walking this line and you've been handling it and you've been showing up and you've been doing a damn good job carrying all this weight. And now it's time that we just start doing stuff for ourselves. I'm not the same person I was before this. And that's not a loss. And in fact, it's an improvement because all the lessons I can take from walking this path with my son, I can help put into words on this platform. I can help put into words on social media and show and provide and connect with you ladies, especially, and create a community that can help support you and pull those moms up that just got that diagnosis. Pull them up, show them that they don't have to live in survival forever. They don't have to. And if they do, because the diagnosis is so bad and so demanding, wouldn't it be nice to have a community of moms and women that understood that could be your friend, that could show up without being asked to show up, without you having to explain to them all the nitty gritty that you're going through, but they just get it? You don't even have to tell them. They just get it. And they drop you dinner off and they watch your other kiddos or they do whatever they need to do. This is where friendship and community is made. So welcome. You're not just surviving anymore. You are becoming. Part of becoming, like I said, is just pulling others up with you, having so much fire inside of you that you walk this and you know that what they're going through is difficult. I've met tons of moms like you through this process and starting this movement of moms that, similar to me, that now are on the other side and they have the ability to be a voice and to be a beacon and to show up for other moms. So I just keep encouraging that you do that. I want to ask you something though. Let's pivot a little bit and I want you to sit with it for a second. Think about which stage you're in. There's no judgment. Listen, there is no judgment with where you are. And I'm not asking which stage do you want to be in, not which stage you think that you should be in by now, right? Because we're guilty of that, where we should be versus where we are. But where are you actually? Like, pause and think about it and don't be ashamed. Just blurt out whatever stage that comes right off the tip of your tongue. Do not overanalyze it. Because here's what I do know. There is no wrong answer. There are no falling behind, no, well, she's been here for 2 years, so she should definitely be in stage 4 by now. No, that's not how this community works. Some of you are going to hear stage 1 and cry because you finally have a word for it. Some of you are going to hear stage 3 and go, that's me right now. That's exactly me. And some of you have been quietly living in stage 5 and you didn't even know it had a name. And I want to highlight, you may be quietly living in stage 5 because you do have friends that are in stage 1 and you feel guilty for being in stage 5, but none of this, no stage should assume any type of guilt. I want all of you to release the guilt of what happened, the guilt of what you possibly did, the guilt of your body failing you, the guilt of did you make the right decision? Did you not make the right decision? Because that is not productive. You cannot assume the guilt. You can try, but I want you to, this is your permission slip. Let it go. Give yourself some grace. You're doing the best that you can with the cards that you have been dealt. And you're showing up because you don't have any other option. Because as the mom, you will absolutely show up. So whatever stage you're in, lean in. If you want to move to the next stage and you need support, reach out. I'm here to help you. Be honest with yourself. I'm in stage 5. I've worked to get here. It took, I was in at least 18, if not 24 months in stage 1 without even realizing it. So if you listen to this and you're like, oh my God, I didn't even know I was in survival mode. No problem. I understand. You don't usually know. When you start to come out of it, don't fault yourself if you get to stage 2 and then you backtrack to stage 1 because something happens. That's okay. Healing, no matter if you're talking about your child or yourself inside of this dysregulated state, is not linear. Life is unpredictable. Things are going to happen all the time that take us from the high that we're on to the lowest of low. And there's no way to avoid it. But having awareness around these steps and these seasons can be huge. So what stage are you today? Just let it roll off the tongue. So I want to wrap this up and let you guys know that we're coming to the end of season 2. I've been sitting with a lot of gratitude for the mamas who've sent me voice memos, messages, thank yous, inquiries. Like, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for the guests who have led us into the hardest rooms of their lives. For you, wherever, whoever you are listening to this right now, thank you. We're wrapping up season 2. We have another great episode. I want to end on a high note. We're going to release our hyperbaric oxygen episode after this one. And it's so good, you guys. Like, it's so good. I talked on Instagram, if you follow us, about the testimonials that Dr. Centers goes through. I mean, they'll bring you to tears. And this is a therapy that you may have not ever thought about introducing for your kiddo. And if not, I would absolutely reach out to him because he's the best of the best. So he'll be able to navigate if it's like a good therapy or not for you. But I can't wait to release it. So we're going to be wrapping up season 3 with that. We're on the hunt for more families, more stories, more conditions to talk about, more truth, more of the in-between space that nobody else is willing to actually talk about. That's what this podcast is for. This platform is to bring awareness to that. But before we go there, I need to give you this: a framework, a mirror, a way to look at where you are and know that there is a next stage waiting, wherever you're ready or whenever you're ready. You don't have to rush. You don't have to perform. You just have to keep showing up. And if today is the day you are finally willing to show up for yourself, even just a little bit, we're here. Held is here. The community is here. Yes, Held is only in person in St. Pete right now. However, I am diligently working to get an online community going. So again, if you are interested, even a little bit, join our email list. Send me a DM on my Instagram. You can message me at Dr. Johanna Hartley, or you can do it at Born for This Stories, whichever way. Just let me know you're interested and I'll add you to the wait list because it's going to be great. It's going to be a community that you can connect with other moms and feel less alone. And if you don't have a mom in your area, or if you're just so busy with doctor's appointments and care that you can't make it to a meeting, not a problem. This solves all of that. You don't have to do this alone. You were never meant to. You were born for this. All of it. Even this stage. And I look forward to seeing you guys more in season 3. But don't forget about the hyperbaric episode. It's coming out. Don't forget. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to take one simple step. Share it with a friend, another parent, or a caregiver who might need to know they are not alone in this journey. Make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you're looking for more connection, resources, community, come find us at Instagram at Born for This Stories, or come to HELD if you're in St. Pete. It's our free monthly gathering for medical mamas. But if you're not in St. Pete, get to that Instagram, send us a message, and get on the wait list for the online community that's going to be released soon. We release stories every Monday. Whatever part of this journey you're in, the waiting room, the recovery, or the in-between, you don't have to carry it alone. We see you, I stand with you, and never forget, you were born for this.